Alright. Good evening, and welcome back to Safari Week 2026. I'm Maniacal Engineer, and, well, this time I'm still stuck in the swamp. Well, I will be as soon as I go back in there. Yes, great marsh, all I can catch for 500 Poké Dollars. Here's my Safari Balls, hooray. And just like last time, I'm basically just going to get into the grass, try to use as few steps as possible, and just kind of tap D-pad, get encounter. Like this! Alright, B-Barrel. Get lost, you're not shiny. So yeah, this is what we're going to be doing tonight. It's very exciting. But that's just the essence of Safari Week. We'll see if I actually find any shinies. I hope I do. It would be nice. I don't know, actually, no. They wouldn't have, because I was the last one to stream. I know this because I didn't have to change the streaming information. I was going to say, I wonder if anybody's caught any shot. No, not yet. I would be the first. I have to be the first. Let me be the first. Especially, again, Shiny Yanma is so cool. Yes, second try, let's go. I can do this. I'm just lightly tapping my circle pad. It's fine. I can stay here and do nothing, or stay here and not use up any steps. I will say, I might have used up the random or the full odds shiny luck for this particular save file already, because this is the save file that I found the random shiny Roselia in while I was hunting for the roaming legendaries. I think that was when I was hunting for the roaming legendaries. I don't remember, but I did find a shiny roaming, or a shiny Roselia in this game. How long before I'm a gibbering... I'm already a gibbering wreck! What are you talking about? Negative 10 minutes! Oh hey, it's nighttime. Come on. There we go. Let's go. Come on, B-Barrel. I know you can be shiny. I know you can. And honestly, like I have said, I do kind of hope that if I find a shiny... I mean, again, shiny Yanma would be really cool. But B-Barrel would be easier to catch. Finding one is the first step, though, so good luck with that. Gotta get more encounters before I can do that. Incoherent gibbering. Wait, you mean you can actually comprehend what I'm saying right now? That's good, because I can't. Anyway, I debated starting this at 7:30 p.m., my usual starting time, but for some reason, Cap said 8 o'clock my... Ooh, Tropius! Cap said 8 o'clock my time, so I was like, you know what, I get an extra half hour. That's fine by me. I don't care. I like being able to take it easier when I get home. So yeah, don't know how long I'll be going tonight, but Very latest, I'll be going until my usual stream end time of 11:30 my time, but who knows? Might be only 3 hours. We'll see. Depends on how demoralized I get. Hello, Jay! How are you this fine evening? Hi, KR! So, we thinking that I can do it tonight, or no? Is everyone just here to heckle me and watch as I devolve into chaos? And idiocy. Well, too bad for you. I'm already chaos and idiocy. And hello, Normans. Oops. It's twice I've done that where I've accidentally tapped the D-pad in the same direction twice in a row. Not the D-pad, the circle pad. Heckle, yes, heckle is good. No. You're thinking that if this was Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, it's 1 in 8,192. Oh yeah, you're here for your usual Monday me stream, which is going to be the only Monday, like, I didn't have one last week because I was in Jersey. I'm not going to have one next week because I'm going to be in Grand Rapids. This is a very unusual month for me. There's some really good stuff here. There's some really good stuff here. Statler and Waldorf, the best Muppets. I like Statler and Waldorf. They're so funny. Alright, it's another Whooper. Animal drummed yesterday, I see. I'm not sure in what context Animal drummed yesterday, but good for Animal? Alright, this next one is a big one. It's number 777. Can we get a shiny for encounter lucky number 777? Come on, no. Aren't you guys always here to heckle? Like, I thought that was the audience's purpose, was to heckle or throw tomatoes. That's what heckling is. At least partially. Ah, you're not here. I feel better now. But yeah, no, this is gonna be what it's gonna be. And I don't even know if Dawning is going to be here this... Like, Dawning obviously knows that I'm not streaming on my channel this week, but Dawning does have access to the voice chat here. Whether or not she joins is up to her, because I know she's exhausted. She had her performances this weekend, plus Minnesota's kind of covered in smog right now, which does not make anybody feel good. I find it more funny that I brought good air back to Chicago from New York. Usually it's the other way around. But apparently, like, the day before I got back, it was horrible here. So I will definitely take credit for the air getting better here. Like, I brought it back from New York. Listen, fires happen. Just look at my head. My head's on fire. I understand fire. It would never betray me. I mean, I technically don't know how bad Chicago. Like, all I've got is the word of my, which, you know, again, I trust my family, but it was very, very bad here. Like the day before I came home, and even the morning when I was traveling, like when I was traveling to back to JFK Airport to come home, it was bad. It's not great right now, but like it's a hell of a lot better than it has been. So I'll take it. Because, I mean, if it didn't get better or if it was just as bad, I'd have to stay home. And I'm told even inside, because buildings are near to which they can't be, but like, even inside it was bad. But this kind of stuff can give me migraines or cause problems with my respiratory system. I mean, it can cause problems with everybody's respiratory system, but like, I've had well, not full on, but like, I've had issues that resulted in needing an inhaler from this. So, glad that it sort of cleared up. I hope that the fires get put out soon, and that's all I'm going to say on the subject. And speaking of disasters, this marsh actually looks pretty good, despite having been blown up by a galactic bomb. Like, I honestly don't understand the point of them testing the galactic bomb here. It doesn't do, like, we see what it did to Lake Valor. What did it do here? Nothing! Nothing at all. Like, I don't know. I think I'm a babbling, incoherent mess by now, so Poke Delta within 15 minutes. It took less than 15 minutes. Oh well. That's just life. I mean, technically Magikarp are pretty resilient. Like, that much we know. It's not like the still managed to blow up the lake water. And possibly everything else in the lake. Who knows? Anyway, I think I've given up on the idea of fishing because I kind of suck at it, whereas this is just kind of easy enough to tootle around, and, you know, even if I take the occasional step, I got plenty. I'm gonna run out of time before I run out of steps. See, that would be funny. And Gyarados doesn't need water to survive. We saw one flying around Hisui. See, but unfortunately that would have meant that Team Galactic's plans got foiled by someone other than the main character, and Pokemon games can't have that. Anyway... Flying Gyarados and Galar. Is there a Flying Gyarados and Galar? I don't remember Galar well enough to comment on that. I mean, especially not the wild area roamers. I really don't remember the wild area roamers. Yeah, Nama, we meet again. A lot of cool things I could potentially find as shinies here. And just as a reminder, for those of you who may not have been here, or maybe not a reminder, but just as something that I'll point out again for those of you who may not have been here yesterday, was that? No, that's still 802. This is the save file that I used for my Pokemon Platinum LP back when I first made that for Bulba Garden, so I do have my original squad here. Punguin, Mask Rose, Juniper, Splurb, Grim, and Porygon. So yeah, fun. I wish that I could just hit the B button and run from battle. I do not want this. Honestly, an idea for a strategy would be finding myself in a corner. Or putting myself in a corner where there's like nothing but grass. But I don't think that there's any such corner where I could just put myself in grass and wiggle back and forth between whatever directions. I'll have to check a map of the Great Marsh, see if I can do that. Ah, well. Keep going. We're about 10% the way towards the full 8,192. Which, again, does not mean that if I get 8,192 encounters, I'm guaranteed to get a shiny. It just means that those are the odds. On average, one should get a shiny for every 8,192 encounters. But theory and mathematical practice are two separate things. What area am I in? I'm in either Area 1 or Area 2 of the marsh. I'm like just outside the entrance. Or, yeah, just within the entrance. Like, the entrance is to my... It's to the west. Just beyond those trees. Dance, little me character, dance! I could pull up a map of the Great Marsh, but I'm lazy. And this is working. So why would I fix something that's working? Because I'm an idiot, maybe. Also, just because something is working doesn't mean that there isn't a more efficient way of handling it, I suppose. There's also a corner northeast of where I am. I should really pull up a map. I really should. Half tempted to shiny hunt Yanma in the Great Marsh. I mean, I'm just shiny hunting for whatever the heck comes my way. Up where I am about 10 blocks. Let's try one more encounter in this general area, then I'm gonna pop upstairs. Oh yeah, Bulba Gut definitely has a good map. Definitely a good map. Hello, Quagsire. Aha. Well, I don't know if this is actually going to work, but you know what? Being up against trees is definitely not bad. Let's see. I'm going to pull up a damn map because I want to prove that I'm not completely lazy. You're not shiny. Oh, that's right. 1 and 2 are the top, then 3 and 4, 5 and 6. I forget. But yeah, no, they number them from the top, not the bottom. Show me the map. I don't care about the items. Give me the map. I don't even really care about the encounters. Just give me the damn map. Up a bit more and I have a corner. I do! Yes, there it is. That's exactly the kind of thing... Oop. It's exactly the kind of thing that I was looking for. Okay, I don't need the damn map anymore. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Twitch chat to the rescue. Here we go. Hey, Paris! That's a new one! Alright, here's my corner, so I go... Come on, surely this has to generate an encounter. Not like that. There we go. It's Peeberl. I mean, this works. All I need is a corner to do this. Hopefully this actually can generate encounters. And I'm not a complete idiot. Wait, I might be a complete idiot. Nope, it does generate encounters. I'm smart. There are, in fact, rules in this game, yes. Come on. Doesn't seem to generate encounters quite as fast. Maybe it's just that I'm getting lucky. I don't know. Sweet Scent does not work that way. I think we established that on Sunday. It does not work that way. Not in this game. Also, I don't know if you could even use it here, but... Spell tag that increases encounters? It's the... Ooh! Hold on! Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute! Can I use... I can. White Flute. Where's my White Flute? There we go! Never thought I'd have a use for the White Flute. In fact, I forget that it's a thing most of the time. Now, when does that effect wear off? I do not know. Maybe it's after a certain number of steps, which would be funny. So if I literally just stay here in my damn corner, the White Flute's effect shouldn't... Well, I'm not seeing it. Either way, it's not a key item, so I don't think I can favorite it. I think only key items can be set to Y. Alright. Until I'm at... Well, I ain't going anywhere! So... That's brilliant! I know it wasn't... Like, the spell tag or the cleanse tag, whichever one... That decreases the possibility of wild, but, like, I still credit... you with the idea, KR. Because I wouldn't have thought of the White Flute otherwise. brilliant. Alright, come on, Pokemon. Like, literally, in DS Pokemon games, the last thing I ever wanted to do, usually, was increase the number of encounters. But here, that's actually my advantage. Give me more encounters. More! More! Just stay here in my corner, not using up steps, not using up balls, and not using up the encounter for the white flute. Wait a minute. Can I stack white flute? No, not on Keystone. Wait, did that, like, literally use up the flute? Is the flute no more? Oh no, there it is. Come on. There we go. This is the greatest plan. Get to a corner, use a white flute, and just not use up my steps as I bump up against trees. This is the high-level play. This is the ultimate strategery you all come here to see. My mastermindableness. My absolute genius. No, it's not me, it's you guys. You're the smart ones, I'm just the guy with the controller. Which does not automatically mean that I'm the most brilliant person in the room. I mean, it's not untrue that, like, if I am to stand the best chance of finding a shiny, this is the way to do it. Yeah, I must have just scrolled down a little further in my item menu without noticing it. I found it. Nice. That's the kind of thing I like to see. One turn, one encounter. Let's keep that going. Also, options. No, there's no way to... It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Hey, I'm not feeling that increased encounter rate. Don't make me blow the flute again. I see it took my warning to heart. Because just as I'm bad at other things, I'm also bad at playing the flute. Also, there's one of the old Gateau in this game, but it is not a reusable item. So just because there's only one of it in the game doesn't mean that it's not necessarily a single-use item. There's a difference between Gateau, which is some kind of dessert, and a flute, which is made of glass. The flute shouldn't break when you use it, unless you're a complete klutz. Oh, wait, I'm a complete klutz. I'd probably accidentally poke my eye out with the flute. I don't think I increased the counter for that. The counter, by the way, is... I sometimes might forget to increase it. I sometimes might accidentally increase it twice. So I think it'll average out. It just really comes down to how closely I'm paying attention. Alright. So, if I do find a shiny, which one are you guys hoping for? Looks like we got Wooper, Quagsire, Paris, Tropius, Yanma, Tangela as options. There might be more that I'm forgetting. Did I say Beeberl? I don't remember if I said Beeberl. Beeberl is an option. See? Hello, Shiny Celebi! Can you give me some shiny luck here, please, being a shiny onion fairy of yourself? I'm stuck in a corner. Well, not stuck in a corner. I want to be in a corner because I'm not using up steps this way. This is brilliant. I am a mastermind. Alright. Let's go. Come on. I haven't done any shiny hunting in probably 10 years. Yeah, but you're shiny yourself, so that's got to count for something, right? Oh, that's good tea. I would love to find a shiny while I'm, like, in the middle of drinking something and literally do a spit take on stream. Except that would make my computer or my keyboard or something messy. Be one hell of a clippable moment, though. One hell of a clippable moment. You know, I think youngsters these days have gotten spoiled by how easy it is to find shinies. What with them appearing all over the place in Legends ZA, or Scarlet Violet, or Legends Arceus. Back in the days of Platinum. Well, okay, you had the Poké-Radar. Is Sweet Scent a TM? I guess this is clear weather, considering it's not raining. But is Sweet Scent a TM? In this gen specifically? Because I know it was in Gen 2. Yeah, no, Poké-Radar was miserable. I, for the life of me, could not figure out how the hell Poké-Radar worked. I think I tried to show it off in my Platinum game, and I did not. Okay, it's a level up only. And I'd wager Rose Raid can't learn it by level up. Also, I wouldn't want to replace one of her moves. TMs are not infinite usage in these games. Well, I probably have Giga Drain TMs or Sludge Bomb TMs in other files. I don't know, we'll see. It's something to consider. I think this strategy is working sort of well. But, like, guaranteed encounter... I don't know. I honestly do not know which would be faster, going into my menu and hitting secret or sweet scent, or bumbling around until I find an encounter by this method with the white flute. Oh yeah, no. Do not shiny hunt a roaming legendary. Do not do it. That's just bad news. Everything about roaming legendaries is bad news. Very bad news. Yeah, no, hating your life is not something you should do. I don't wish to hate my life, but here I am. I'm still not 100% sure why I'm here or why I agreed to this, but... I don't know. I do stupid things. This should not be news to anybody. Actually, I have that shiny Roselia I could use for Sweet Scent, presumably. Give it some screen time. Level 31. I don't actually know what level the shiny is. I don't think it's 31, though. Might be close. I don't think I got any rare candies, though. I don't think I have any shiny stones, either. I should have heart scales. Man, if there was a co-host hanging out with me, I'd have him create a poll, see if I should go for the sweet scent or not. I don't think this isn't... Like, I think this is working okay. I don't see a problem with what I'm doing. I mean, it takes a little time to find a Pokemon sometimes, but other times it's like, okay, I literally find one in one turn. And I mean, like, literal turn of the body, the protagonist's body, not, like, turn of battle. This is the greatest plan. Whoopa. I mean, if Sweet Scent could do, like, horde encounters, that would be one thing, but it can't in this game. It would just be, you know, use it to get one encounter. So I don't know if I really see... I really don't know if I see the purpose or the point to it. Maybe I'm an idiot. I might be an idiot. Actually, there's no might about it. I am an idiot, but... Like, I don't necessarily see the point of Sweet Scent. I should have looked up strategies before jumping into this ridiculously. But you know what? When do I ever do anything that makes sense? Making sense is too boring for me. I agree with KR. This is funnier. And it seems to be working. I'm pretty sure it's working. Just imagine other people in the Great Marsh staring at me as I, like, squish between two trees, like, covered in mud, not actually taking any steps, blowing a white flute. Come here, Pokemon! I'm gonna get ya! I'm gonna get ya! No Hoot Hoot, no. I don't think Hoot Hoot is catchable here? NPCs always wonder what I'm doing. And you know what I do? I just look at them and I say, screw you, I'm the main character. I can do whatever the heck I want. Well, if I can't even get a 20% encounter Pokemon to show up, no way in hell I'm going to get a 1 in 8,192 Pokemon to show up. That's ridiculous. But yeah, no, I have not seen Hoot Hoot at all. What's Paris and what's Tropius? Forgot how to... Yeah, I know. We all try to forget how bad the shiny odds used to be. But you know what? I shiny hunted for Distortion World Giratina in a Platinum... Well, obviously, because that's the only one where you'll get a Distortion World Giratina. I have no regrets about my life. Okay, I have several regrets about my life. Hi, Paris. You would be one that I'd actually need to see the shiny sparkle to know whether or not you're actually shiny. Because I feel like shiny Paris is not obvious. Alrighty. They should hire you to do the shiny palettes. To be fair, Gen 1 is the only generation where I excuse bad shiny palettes because they weren't designed with shiny Pokemon in mind. Well, then I'm not in Area 6, because I found Tropius here. I have no clue where the hell I am, except that I'm in the Great Marsh. I thought I was in Area 1 or 2, but then KR said that I was in Area 6. I've definitely found Tropius here. That explains why I stopped finding Tropius when it became nighttime. Also, very bad question, but if I have to ask chat, what are your favorite and least favorite of the Safari Zones in Pokemon? And if you've got reasons, I'd love to hear them. Honestly, I think the one in Ruby Sapphire and Emerald, and I think the extension Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is the worst. Because as far as things like bait go, you know what? I think you're right. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is the worst because there's areas of it that you literally cannot access until the post game because you need both bicycles. How ridiculous is that? And it still has the classic Hoenn problem where it makes you it makes you use your own Pokeblocks and your own resources, whereas other Safari Zones give you the damn bait. This sucks. No, it's in. I think they still make you use your own Pokeblock in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I never really used bait anyway, so. Maybe I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time. But if it does have that problem with the requiring twin bicycles and needing your own Pokeblock, oh, I guess that's true. There is technically a pseudo-Safari Zone, but it's not really a Safari Zone. In that case, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald is the worst. You'd think that I would say the Great Marsh is my favorite, but it's actually not. Don't get me wrong. First of all, if I was going for iterations of the Great Marsh, Platinums is the best by a long shot, because it actually has good Pokemon here as opposed to Diamond Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, where the Pokemon selection here is trash. But I really don't like getting stuck in the mud, usually. So yeah, I guess we're not counting Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphires then. Because it's not really a Safari Zone. You have to have the actual Safari Zone mechanics. Which I think makes this the last game that has a Safari Zone. Oh, Gen 1 Safari Zone is also bad. That is true. You can't forget the pain of literally the Pokeball being able to miss. So maybe Gen 3's Ruby, not Ruby Sapphire, Fire Red, maybe Gen 3 Fire Red Leaf Green did it best? Maybe. I'm trying to remember the Safari Zone from Heart Gold Soul Silver. I have not played that recently enough, and I didn't really go into the Safari Zone in Heart Gold Soul Silver much. But honestly, I don't mind this one, except for getting stuck in the mud. It would specifically be Platinums over Diamond Pearl, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Regardless, I don't think the Pokeballs can miss in the Gen 3 Safari Zone. The Gen 3 Fire Red Leaf Green Safari Zone, so it's better than the Gen 1 one, and I don't have enough memory of the Gen 4 Safari Zone in Cianwood. And Gen 2 didn't have a Safari Zone for whatever reason. And Gen 7's Kanto didn't have one either. Because basically the whole world was Safari Zone in Let's Go. Which, who the hell was asking for that? But yeah, I guess it would either be Gen 1 or Gen 3 Hoenn Safari Zones that are the worst. Go Park. Pal Park was something in this generation. And then Bananarama Park was the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I suppose Safari... I mean, again, Safari Zones are an interesting concept, and they make things a little bit more difficult and a little bit more interesting than a standard route. Not unhappy they got rid of them, but... I'm also certainly not unhappy that there's no more "oh no, you missed the Pokemon." But I was just annoyed at that in Gen 1 in general. Like, jeez. That was not a nice thing to do. That was very much not a nice thing. I'm half tempted to blow the white flute again. I don't think it would do anything, but... I'm gonna twist a couple more times. If I don't get any encounter, I'm just gonna blow the flute. That does it. Come on. Nothing's showing up. Oh, hello.
Hello there.
I have come up with the most brilliant strategy. I am in a corner and I am using the white flute.
Well, it certainly makes it less likely that you're going to go in the wrong direction when you're turning like that.
Yep, and the white flute should theoretically increase my encounters by 50%. It's been a while since my last one.
What's this that Poker Delta wanted to know? See those people fun up tomorrow with arcade streams.
Talking about the Gen 3 Safari Zone, I think. But yeah, I was asking chat what their favorite and least favorite of the Safari Zones are. I was originally saying Ruby, Sapphire, Emeralds because it made you use your own Pokeblock as bait, but then I was reminded that Gen 1 had the oh no, you missed the Pokemon. Alright, well, Jay, you still have a massive advantage over me because your odds are double what mine are. So go ahead. I challenge you, whichever one of us can find a shiny first.
Hello there, Proxima. By the way, if I'm kind of semi-distracted while this, it's because I'm playing TCG Live on the other screen at the same time.
I started up a new file of Tears of the Kingdom yesterday. It took forever for the Switch 2 upgrade or whatever the heck they call it to download, but once it did, I was ready and I was unimpressed. Like, I'm playing it and I'm like, okay, I think the colors might be a smidge more vivid. Was that really worth it?
I mean, you need to have a TV good enough to really take advantage of it. If you're not playing on a 4K TV, then there's not all that much point.
That's what I thought. The Switch 2 is in fact pointless.
I'm looking forward to finally being able to buy a TV here soon.
Yes, TVs are good. I mean, the monitors that I have set up now with my computer are, I don't think they're 4K, but they're still pretty high resolution. Certainly better than my laptop monitor was.
Yeah, I mean, my primary monitor is a 2K monitor, and then the others are both 1080p. But for something this close to me, and particularly given that my system's about 6 years old, I wouldn't be trying to run stuff in 4K anyway.
No, it's just a bad idea.
But for the Switch, I would like to actually have that properly in 4K, which was going to require me to have things that are a lot more put together.
Yeah, that makes sense. Granted, I tend to use my Switch a lot more as a handheld than as a docked console, but that's just because I take it with me when I go on trips. Like when I was on vacation last week, although I didn't really use it much last week, but I will certainly use it next week while I'm on a business trip. But what happened? I didn't touch anything. Why did it go bad? When in doubt, unplug and replug. This capture device. I didn't yoink. Well, okay, I did, but only after the screen went blank anyway. Then I unplugged and replugged from the USB end. I know better. Anyway, let's see. Come on. Get an encounter. For a DS game, you're not giving me encounters left and right enough. That does it. I'm blowing the flute again.
Yeah. I'm doing this mode in TCG Live that's basically using build and battle boxes, and unfortunately, in the current set, there is one build and battle box that is noticeably worse than every other option.
Okay. I don't understand what that means, but it sucks.
They're basically pre-constructed decks.
Right.
And there's one, the Slow Bro deck, where it's like, sure, you have a potential decent output, but getting that output is such a tedious thing that it's just not worth it. Yeah, I'm going to concede this match. This is horrible.
I mean, I'm not sure what you were expecting. It's slow, bro. It's going to be slow to start.
Well, the problem is that they're only 4 prize matches, so you can't be slow to start. It needs, like, if your opponent gets set up before you do and takes the first KO, you're kind of wrecked. Especially if you don't get, like, your needed setup cards and brick. And this was just a complete brick.
Yep. Let it be known that decks that rely too heavily on specific gimmicks probably won't work.
Well, see, that's the thing. In Pokemon, the majority of decks that you see are gimmick decks. And they absolutely do work because they've got the numbers and yada yada yada. The problem is that the gimmick for the Slowbro deck is much more unreliable than the gimmicks for every other deck in this build and battle set.
Here's Noctowl. So I finally got a Noctowl. I still haven't gotten a Hoot Hoot.
Oh, there's not even a Pikachu deck in this KR Black. It's like you've got the Ghost deck, we'll call it. You've got this Slowpoke deck. You've got oh geez, what are the other main ones? You've got the Bastiodon deck. That's probably the most brutal one out of all of these.
Bastiodon is brutal?
Oh yeah. It has an ability that if it is on the bench, your opponent can't attack with attacks that are 2 energy or less. And because most of these decks are built around attacks that don't need much energy, it's very difficult for them to get 3 energy onto a Pokemon to do those attacks. So yeah, the Bastiodon one's probably the best, followed by the Miraidon and Vikavolt deck, which can at least retain some of its energy, making it a little less likely to get destroyed by Bastiodon, because you can actually get to the 3 energy. But because the Bastiodon deck has rare candies in it, you can get the Bastiodon out when your opponent doesn't have enough energy attached to do anything else. And for instance, I can already see my opponent is playing a Bastiodon deck and they just used something that let them get a rare candy. So I'm going to lose my first Pokemon out because it doesn't deal enough damage to KO Bastiodon. And yeah, there's not really much I can do about it. I just have to hope I get the KOs early enough that let's see, put that. Okay, I've got the ignition energy, so I can at least get one attack off on Silvally if he doesn't KO me directly. He probably will. I don't want to play my...
how any of this works. Also, Poké Delta, I'm not playing Diamond Pearl and I found a Hoot Hoot. I don't know what the heck is with this Safari Zone or this Great Marsh. It is what it wants to be. Also, one of the knuckles on my right hand is spasming, which is fun. Oh well. If I can get close to 1,500 encounters by the end, not like a total of 1,500 encounters, not like 1,500 encounters total. If I can get close to 1,500 encounters before I end for today, I'll be happy.
So another 600 to go. Oh, okay, so that's including the encounters from the previous one, right?
Yes.
I was going to say, there's no way you've done 900 in the hour or so you've been streaming.
Yeah, no. I'm good, but I'm not that good. Now, Poké Delta and I think a few others were potentially recommending that I use Sweet Scent. I don't know if Sweet Scent got me like a horde encounter, maybe. I don't know if it's worth it compared to just standing here in the corner and using the White Flute.
Ah, dang it. Okay, if you're going to be like that, I'm going to...
Come on, I want to be the first one on Bulbagarden to get a shiny in Safari Week. Can we make this happen? Yanma's not showing. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, if you're looking specifically for Yanma and it's not showing up in the Great Marsh. Well, I found a Yanma. It's not shiny, but I found a Yanma.
Oh no, I have no more ignition energy. Oh, that sucks. So I literally can't attack.
That was just timing, Jay. It had nothing to do with me. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. It's why I'm disappointed. Like, this is far and away the best iteration of the Great Marsh that there has ever been, and probably ever will be. Because it's got all of, I mean, because it is Platinum, so it has all of Platinum's quality of life improvements. Archaic Poké Delta is saying that there's a problem with the encounter tables on Bulbapedia for the Great Marsh, as I have done the impossible.
No.
Apparently you're not supposed to be able to encounter Tropius and Hoot Hoot in the same zone in Platinum, but I did.
I couldn't tell you how that works.
I have no idea. I don't understand encounter tables. I don't pay attention to them in the Great Marsh anyway. It should be. I moved like 2 steps to the north. Maybe it's considered a different area. But Well, maybe, because I don't think I encountered Paris when I was lower down, so maybe it's a different area? Don't know. Hello, Cody! I do not know. I didn't even check the binoculars. I just charged in like a dummy. Well, no, not like a dummy. Like a guy who wanted to find some shinies. Like this not
Well, I've
Noctowl
lost.
here.
Oh wait, no, I haven't lost. What am I talking about? He doesn't have any benched, so I might win.
Tropius is among the changing Pokemon, yes. So were things like Carnivine and I think Krogunk. Threw together OBS. Excellent! You are making your return to streaming tomorrow. Very good, Cody.
What time will you streaming tomorrow, Cody?
I'd have to check the schedule to find out. It's somewhere.
Just so long as we haven't actually accidentally double booked ourselves or something. Because I remember originally I wasn't going to be streaming.
Oh, yeah, 9 a.m. Yeah, 9 a.m. Eastern U.S., so yeah. I don't think that's going to conflict with you, boss man. Work schedule. Hey, listen, your work schedule being silly makes up for the fact that the rest of us have a regular work schedule. I'm gonna be stuck doing training in the office tomorrow, and I just got back from vacation.
Well, if my opponent knocks me out, I lose now because I have. There's one energy card left in my prizes, and I couldn't get the card.
Funny.
Oh, it was one of two cards in my prizes, and I picked the wrong one.
Oops.
Yep. And so is the Bugmaster. I still don't know, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, go Scarlet Violet and have a random match. Like a bug-type team match.
Nah, that won't work.
Why not?
Well, for starters, I don't have a bug-type team.
Well, then Bugcatcher J is the superior Bugmaster.
I don't do competitive battling. That's not that's not really going to work as a good test. Like, I do silly challenges in game.
Alright, then maybe a face-off where you both start a fresh file of the same game and try to compete to see who can beat it first using only bug types.
I mean, are we saying beat it first in terms of number of hours on the save file?
Sure.
It's not impossible. Oh great, I'm fighting against someone using the exact same deck.
Jay, don't act so surprised. I can have good ideas every once in a while.
I recommend Pokemon Stadium. bug types only in Stadia? Does it even let you use all of the bug types in Gen 1 for that?
Oh no, Cody. You just want people to experience the same kind of hell you did in Stadium. You had fun, the fact that you have to specify you think you had fun. It might be called Stockholm Syndrome. KR might be correct on that one, Cody. Still, that was an experience. Jay, I don't think you know what Cody did for his stadium run. Cody, you want to explain that to Jay? Ugh. I didn't catch most of those streams because they were happening on the same night that I was streaming on my channel, but Cody would usually raid my channel after his stream, and I'd get a brief synopsis of what happened. Oh boy.
So this latest match I've got is a mirror match, and I think my opponent, 2 of his basic slowpoke are in his prizes, so he's struggling to set anything up.
Well,
decent.
At least that's good.
Yeah, we'll see if I get the win. Honestly, in their position, I probably would have conceded. They're taking a long time to think, so we'll see.
I mean, it kind of was hell, Jay. It kind of was hell. And that was part of why people found it so amusing. There might be, and there honestly should be, and if there aren't, it's disappointing, but there probably are clips on the channel somewhere from some of the more memorable moments. Yeah, well. Oh, Cody, I don't know if you are actually, you wouldn't be aware. This is the save file that I used for my Platinum LP that I put up on the YouTube channel. So, a little bit of Bulba history here. And I actually, it's not from the same file, but I do have my Shiny Distortion World Giratina on here. Which is nice. Very nostalgic. Actually, I know you remember, because I think I had to have you edit down hydrate and posture check. Yes, very important. That's the first bottle of water down. Already finished my tea. I might have to go up for more tea at some point. But posture is actually good. I've been getting better about sitting properly in chairs because I've noticed that when I don't sit properly, my muscles spasm a lot. We're also Hi, Snowy.
Hello.
What's new?
I don't know, what is new?
I'm now at 920 encounters. I'm hiding in a corner, and I'm trying to use a white flute. Oh yeah, and Cody's here.
And Cody's here. Hi, Cody.
Oh, I did not notice that third redemption. But yes, I suppose it's time to sing because I made this a thing. Now we'll see if I can find the shiny Pokemon. I think this is a bad idea, but you all can sing along. That said, I don't think you can because I'm making this up as I go. So when it comes to what I'm going to say, not even I know. Let's keep making more encounters. I think I'm going to fail. But I refuse to back down or to quail. I don't
Dang it.
know if I use that word correctly. I don't care either, technically.
Well, I
Great.
lost that game. Dang it. I bricked.
Archaic's luck in TCG does not seem to be doing well tonight. Hopefully, at least he'll be able to put up a fight.
Not with slow, bro, I won't.
Well,
This deck
then,
really is not very good. And unfortunately, you don't get a choice of which deck you get to use. It's completely random. So, I mean, I've got to do these because I basically have no cards from recent sets, so I don't have much option to try and get something useful. But it's just like...
I have several copies of Pokemon Platinum. I had to search through 3 other cartridges before I found this one. One of them was the one where I tried to do a solo run with Zubat. That really did not go well. I ended up getting walled by Byron. I've stopped rhyming once again because my brain is gone out the window.
Why do you even do that song anyway?
Because it's the one
Why
that
that
always
song
shows up in my
specifically?
head. Either that or Happy Birthday to You.
You
So
did
that-
the Imperial March not long ago.
Oh, I did do that, didn't I?
That would be a better song. Now you can't remember how it goes.
I suppose I could sing in the Imperial March. I am stuck here in this marsh. March and marsh don't really rhyme, but I don't care. I'm having a terrible time. Yes, this is now the Imperial Marsh. That's just what we're going to call it from now on. I don't know. I'm lost. I'm confused. My brain hurts.
So, a Monday.
Basically, yes.
Do they have the free energy to discard? Knock me out. No, they do not. Thank you.
Nothing yet, Jay, but that's just to be expected because this is ridiculous. I've barely had any encounters since I started singing. Perhaps my singing is driving them away. I should write down like a bunch of lyrics and just have them on hand for when people make me sing in the future, but I'm too lazy to do that. Come on, why have I not gotten an encounter in like forever? That does it, it's time for the white flute again. There we go. I also may need to go upstairs and grab some more tea. Singing is fun, but can be painful. It ain't. Look, I don't. Oh. I think my phone thought I said Siri.
Okay, who said you could stop singing though?
I
Me.
did.
Stop singing.
Aha!
Oh,
Archaic
no,
archaic outranks you.
no, he used another one, so.
Alright, I tell you what, I'm gonna go upstairs and grab some more tea before I start that nonsense again. I will be right back. Night, Cody. About halfway up the stairs, I realized, you know, if I'm going to go get tea, I should probably have my tea mug. So yeah, I'm an idiot.
I hear that beautiful.
It certainly can be. Anyway, now it's time for me to sing once again. So let's do this and find a shiny before 10. That said, I really don't think this is going to work, but I can at least try and not my duty shirk. I am going to sing over and over until you tell me to stop because this is no fun anymore. I don't think that's going to happen, so I'll keep on singing, at least until I find a shiny Pokemon. Let's keep on going, and it's gonna go very, very poorly because that's what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm up to, but it's no good. I am just sitting here in a corner hunting. I've lost my train of thought, but what else is new? Just standing here moving back and forth is very boring. I am burying up my tunes because Archaic complained. Now I will be doing something else because it's on my brain. I don't know what to do, so let's move back and forth and find more Pokemon, but none of them will be shiny. That's what it's going to be because the odds are against me. I don't know.
Well,
Singing.
your singing made me win that match somehow.
Let it be known that my singing brings luck, at least to everyone who isn't me.
Well, it brought luck that time. The previous time, I of course lost miserably.
That's not my fault. You complained about my singing that time, so it ended against you.
Of course, the problem with playing this at this time is that I'm pretty sure I've already played this person earlier in this set, so they know what deck I'm playing and they will probably beat the crud out of me.
That sounds like it's a lot of fun. I am glad that when it comes to TCG, I know nothing.
Well, I'll gladly admit that if it was not for wanting to do streaming stuff, I probably wouldn't be doing these over and over. Honestly, I wanted to save my build and battle tokens for the streams, so this is probably my last one for a while, because yeah, I'm just unless you win 3 matches in a row, you will not keep your tokens. And you only have a limited number, so there's only so many streams I'm going to be able to do with this.
I don't know what tokens do in the TCG. But then again, when it comes to the TCG, I know nothing.
I know water beats fire.
Well, that's just because it's the same in the video games, and I know about that. But the typing scheme is not even the same between the games, the anime, and the TCG. Everything confuses me, but that's no surprise. That's why every day I go slowly insane. I should actually be at least somewhat quiet right now. I know for a fact my wife is right upstairs preparing her dinner as we speak, or more accurately, as I was singing. I should be a considerate me. I do need to try out that mask that I got myself, the soundproofing mask. I figure if I can't soundproof the room, just slap some soundproofing material over my mouth. That'll probably work.
I did see something not that long ago about how little soundproofing material you actually need to make it so it's not
you don't
too
understand.
bad for people
This is a drop roof. Those things conduct sound like nobody's business. Like it is all hollow in there.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I guess you'd pretty much have to cover either the inside or the outside to guarantee that, wouldn't you?
And it's still no guarantee that it wouldn't leak out through the walls or the door, because the doors are also very light. So this room is a soundproofing disaster, and it is not a small room. Because I've tried, I've looked up various methods. I've got some soundproofing material on the doors, but just whatever I've tried, I've even been in a little booth. It does not work. There is insufficient soundproof. So again, you got to go straight to the source and just put the soundproofing material right over my mouth. A lot less area to cover, because despite what it may seem, my mouth is actually very small. Physically. Metaphorically, I have a big mouth. I don't see anybody disagreeing.
I was busy.
You were busy, or you wouldn't like, it's not something worth disagreeing with because it's factually true.
I didn't say whether I'll agree or not, I just said I was busy.
Disagreeing with me metaphorically having a big mouth, Jay. Nobody disagreed with that.
I don't think there's anything there to disagree with.
I never said there was, just that I didn't see people disagreeing. Only metaphorically, Dino Guts. Physically, my mouth is actually literally very small. Well, not very small, but it is small. There was a point in time when I was actually flexible enough to be able to put my foot in my mouth. Don't ask how I know this.
Was that when you were very young?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sure as a baby I could put my foot in my mouth. Babies put everything in their mouth.
I didn't mean that young. I meant about 10, 12 kind of thing.
I could probably do it when I was 10, 12, but I think a little older, too. Again, do not ask how I know this.
I'm not gonna... Me neither.
It actually might surprise you, but don't ask.
It sounds like you're about to volunteer.
Nah. Dawning's not here, so I refuse to volunteer anything. But yeah, no. What else can we talk about? Tea. Tea is
Fish.
good.
We could talk about fish.
I can't drink tea.
You can't?
Strictly speaking, there are types of tea that I can have, but
Right.
if you're thinking regular black tea or something like green tea, I can't have it because
But like the
I
herbal
can't-
infusions are fine.
Yeah, because I can't have caffeine.
Right.
So
Hello, Joe. We're running into a lot of Quagsire this evening. Like this one.
Can't you have decaffeinated tea?
Decaffeinated
no,
is not
because it still
100%.
has some-
Yeah. It's never
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, like, I mean, technically I can have it. It's not going to kill me. It just gives me panic attacks.
Not great.
Okay.
No.
But yeah, no.
Let
What
me
I
say,
have,
getting through a PhD without caffeine was an experience.
what I'm having now at this point in the evening is not caffeinated tea. It's an herbal infusion.
It feels like modern society is pretty much built on caffeine. So,
Well, that's why they say America runs on Dunkin'.
what?
It's the slogan of what used to be Dunkin' Donuts and is now just Dunkin', and they basically mean their coffee.
It's the first time I've heard that one before.
That's because you don't live in America.
They still call it Dunkin' Donuts in Australia.
They should. I don't know why they changed it.
Wait, we have a Dunkin' Donut?
Last I saw, there are still Dunkin' Donuts. In Queensland, at least, there were. But I mean,
know there was
obvious.
what was it called? There was an American ice cream chain in Joondalup when I was
Baskin
living
Robbins?
there. That's the one. How do you spell Dunkin'?
See, I don't drink coffee. I drink tea as my caffeine.
Dunkin' Donuts Perth. Ignore the
This
AI.
music is way too cheerful and repetitive for something like this. Safari zones are pain, misery, and suffering, and you never find shinies in there, and if you do, it's horrible. Trying to think about the last time my little brother had coffee. I think he had like a sip of my sister's coffee once, and went like he started uncontrollably vibrating, and it was funny watching him for like the rest of the day. I'm pretty sure the same thing would happen to me if I had coffee, because I have not in years, but
when I search for Dunkin' Donuts in Perth, I just get a Krispy Kreme.
I am aware of that brand.
I've had that brand a couple of times. They're pretty good donuts, in my opinion.
I think they're
7-Eleven
kosher.
sells them. No, they're probably not.
To be fair, most of the Dunkins in this area aren't kosher, but there are two that are. Probably be going to that one, or to the closer one, next Friday for lunch, because I'm going to be out of town for like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the hell if I'm getting
I swear,
back
if
late
I've just
Thursday.
lost this game because of that stupid misplay, if I hadn't taken a card into my hand then, I would have knocked him out. Oh, that's so annoying.
You would have won if there was singing.
Don't
Maybe.
do it.
I can't, but maybe chat can.
Don't do it. My vocal cords need rest. And so do your ears.
Would we be here if our ears required rest?
If you do this again, I will go as off key as I possibly can.
Okay,
And
I think
will
I've
not
won. He has
rhyme
no further
at all.
ignition energy, so he can't do anything. I think. Oh no, wait, how many psychic energy does he have left? He still has some in his deck. Oh no!
Alright, I see that hydrate. I have to open a new bottle.
Oh no, wait, he needs 2 prices, I only need 1. I'll do enough damage. Yeah, okay, 2. I'll win. I would be extremely frustrated if I did lose to a misplay.
I mean, that's... yeah.
Like, if I lose because my opponent outplayed me, it's one thing. To lose because I played myself is just frustrating.
Almost like accidentally kicking a goal into your own net.
My sympathies to the team that did that at the World Cup, and that was the goal that lost them the match. But at least they were able to confidently say that the only team that scored in the match was them.
True. That was amusing.
At least my rewards for this are pretty nice. That's another full-hard Mega Excadrill. I might be able to make a deck with that later. What else did I get? Mostly just the usual full-hard Primarina. Okay, I'll have to see if that's used in any decks. Everything else is kind of meh. But at least those might fill out my collection a bit more.
Getting close to
Definitely
1,000 encounters.
But yeah, my whole reason for doing this is so that I'm able to start doing TCG streams again, because buying physical cards in this country is not cheap.
Ooh, fun.
I mean, I've seen some that were okay, but I've also seen some that were like 3 times what I used to pay in Australia. And I don't know, like, I suspect the 3 times what I paid in Australia is more like the typical price.
I bought a trading card relatively recently for $80. One card. And it's not even it's not even for a game that I play. And it was the cheaper of the two that I was looking at by a long shot. But I'm okay with it. Like, I appreciate, I enjoyed my purchase.
Yeah, I'm trying to not buy TCG cards at the moment. Like, maybe I'll go back and buy some very specific cards I would like to own when they're, you know, not part of the meta. But buying cards at the moment is, yeah,
I mean,
it's hard to justify.
Scalpers ruin everything. Like, scalpers ruin shiny events, scalpers ruin Lego sets, scalpers ruin PCG, scalpers are everywhere, and until everyone collectively decides not to pay them a cent for anything, they're going to keep being a thing. Because the only way they're gonna learn their lesson is if they lose money. Like, if they end up out all the money they spent, they ain't gonna do it again. But it's never gonna be the case that everybody says no to scalpers. And that's the problem with today's society. There's way too much FOMO. That's why I don't care if I miss something or not.
Especially when some products are deliberately designed around FOMO.
I mean, I will say, LEGO could be better about avoiding scalpers. I think in some cases they're trying to get better, but, like, in other cases...
Both Pokemon and LEGO have the problem that the only way to truly defeat scalpers is to make a product available in such numbers that the scalpers
Can't buy them
basically
all.
see no value in it.
Yes.
Yeah. The problem with that is that once the scalpers exit the market, you now have a whole lot of unsold stock.
There is another way to defeat scalpers.
That you're potentially selling at a loss.
There is another way to defeat scalpers, though. You can make the product unsellable.
So going back and ruining their investments is a way to do that. Like, if Pokemon basically said, we're going to spend a year not releasing new Pokemon sets, and we're just going to re-release every set that you have been denied because of these people for the last however many years.
That's something to do.
That would be one way they could potentially wreck people.
I was more meaning what Target in the US has been doing.
But like Lego and Pokemon aren't going to deliberately do that kind of thing to their products.
No, but the retailers are.
The retailers could. And honestly, like if I was Lego, well, first of all, if I was an employee at a Lego store, I would not last long, because whenever I sold a set, I would like take a knife and I would cut some of the tape that's keeping the box shut. Lego is for building and displaying, not for hoarding.
I mean, they're doing
Yeah.
that in a number of stores with TCG product.
Yes.
Because the
Yeah.
scalpers at the moment aren't selling individual cards, they're selling boosters. They're selling like sealed ETBs and so forth. If you have a policy that limits the amount you can buy and says you have to open them in the store, and forces you to open them destructively, which is to say that, like,
the wrapper is completely
that,
gone.
Well, see, it's a bit harder to do for an ETB, but for like a booster pack, you can cut the top off, so they can't just reseal it. Because otherwise, they will just reseal it. Let's be honest.
Of course. But yeah, no. I mean, at the moment, I'm not even really collecting Lego anymore, but like when I do, I prefer to build the sets and display them. The fact that I sold some sets for money for souvenirs for when I went to Japan, first of all, a couple of those were sets that I had built, I had displayed, and I was no longer finding joy in. And then some of the ones that I had that were sealed were ones that I intended to build, but did not end up having the room for it, which really, like, I bought a set that would have been fit. Like, my intention when I bought the set was to have myself and two of my best friends that I've known, one of whom since preschool, the other of which since kindergarten, and all three of us are huge Lego and huge Star Wars fans, right? I wanted us to be able to work on this project, this UCS Star Destroyer, together. But then I had no room to display the thing, and really no room to work on it either. So I had to give up on that dream and change it into souvenirs from Japan, and I don't regret it. But it was a nice, and again, it does come down to what my intention was. When I bought it, I did not intend to sell it, but then I just could not find room in this house for that set. And I have to face practical reality. Well, thanks for hitting me upside the head with a bit, Snowy. I appreciate it. I still am not 100% sure what those are. You'd think I'd know by now, but I really don't.
It's kind of like a tip kind of thing.
I see.
I have no idea how much it's actually worth.
I still
could
like
buy 100 for 240, but
I still like the alert that I put on my channel for when someone, on rare occasion, throws bits and at my like. I literally say throws bits at me's head. Ouch. Because let's face it, that's where people would throw bits if they had. Okay, I don't remember. I probably haven't told this story. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But one of the traditions in Judaism is the Sabbath before you get married is called an ufruf. I don't know what it means, that's just what it's called. And one of the traditions at it is to have the groom-to-be get called up to the Torah, and after after that particular portion is done, you throw candy at him. it's supposed to be like soft candy, right? You're not supposed to actually try hurting the guy, right? Well, guess what my dad bought for my oof-roof? The hard candy. Little did he realize, though, I had a secret weapon. Since I found out what he was planning on doing, and there was a work day before that, on Friday, I grabbed one of the hard hats from the office, and I brought it home with me for the weekend. So when I got called up, well, I got to synagogue early, and I stashed the hard hat in a convenient location. And when I got called up to the Torah, and when I was saying the final blessing afterward, I discreetly reached in and grabbed the hard hat. And told everybody else that was standing around there, you better go away, this is gonna hurt. I think it was supposed to be a prank, and then, well, I don't know, my family's just weird. Like, the worst part was, so I also led the final portion of services, and I know my little sister is devious. So I kept the hard hat on throughout service, except for one moment when my head got itchy. So I lifted the helmet just a little bit to scratch my head, and got nailed right on the side of my head by my little sister. Whew, she's got an arm. And that explains the brain damage.
I see. I think.
I don't. Anyway,
Makes sense.
I continued to wear the hard hat for the rest of the time I was at synagogue. Not even removing it if I had to itch. Or if I had an itch. It was really more amusing than it was painful, though. I look back on that memory somewhat fondly. Mostly because I was able to pretty much thwart them, except for that one hit my sister got in. And honestly, that is just typical of my little sister. She's too similar to me in a lot of ways. Exactly.
Have you found a shiny yet?
I'm trying! I haven't even had 1,000 encounters in this damn marsh yet.
Try harder.
I am doing the best that I can. You want to try blowing the white flute?
Nah.
Then don't complain.
Hey, if I can find a full-on Geodude, surely you can find a shiny.
Your full odds are 1 in 4,096. My full odds are 1 in 8,192. Also, you encounter Pokemon at a much greater rate in Legends Arceus than I do here in this swamp.
I wasn't even trying to encounter that Geodude.
No, you literally just encounter Pokemon by running by. Alright, I have an idea.
I've lost. I should put that Soto up on the bench.
I don't remember how many steps I have in this great marsh thing, but you know what? I've got a decent
Is there
number
no way
of them,
to
I'm
check?
sure.
Is there no way to check?
I don't think so. Which is weird because in the original game, I'm pretty sure it told you how many you had. All it tells me here is how many Safari Balls I have and that I can retire.
Okay.
Like in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, they would tell you how many steps you had left. Showing me how many Safari Balls I have left is pointless because I see that every time I get an encounter.
The Gen 3 ones also tell you how many steps, don't they?
I think so. It's been a while since I played Gen 3. But yeah, I'm keeping my area of movement small, but I think I do encounter quicker if I actually move from one tile to another. And honestly, it is like y'all said, right? If I do run out of steps, 500 Poké is nothing. I probably have more than that in just non-sold, materials like nuggets or stardust or whatever that I've been hoarding for no good reason. But for next time, I may try the sweet scent method. I've got shiny Roselia here somewhere in my boxes. I don't think it's level 31 yet, but I might have resources for that. We'll see.
I had that second binding mochi. That would have done it. 60 is not enough. Yep. Get the card I needed. Dang it.
Alright.
But yeah, to go back to that TCG stuff briefly, like the big problem with the scalpers, and the reason why it has to be addressed, is that long term it impacts on people entering
Yes,
fandom.
of course.
Like TCG right now has a problem that it might be getting too bougie, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it costs too much to enter.
And not just that, it costs too much to keep it up as a hobby,
Right.
and it costs too much to get into it and play competitively. Like, let me give you an example. When I played competitively back in like 2006, 2007, I built one deck, and I used that deck for the entire competitive season that I played. And like back then, you could do that and still have a fun time and still potentially be competing at quite a competitive level. Now, did I spend a lot of money to build that? Sort of not. Like, honestly, I mostly got my cards from just buying regular packs every time I went to the league. Like, got one pack a week basically, and trading the rares that I wasn't using in my deck with other people for things that I needed. So it was possible to do that. Now it's very difficult to put together a deck that has that's budget. Like a budget deck is considered to be something like $50 US, and that's not. I mean, there's probably some decks coming out that might be able to do that, but typically those kinds of decks aren't really that competitive. They're good enough for maybe a local league, but they're not good enough to truly play competitive. And once you factor in things like flying overseas to play in tournaments and so forth. Like, you've
Yeah,
got these
that's
top-tier
expensive.
players. Yeah, you've got these top-tier players who seem to go to, like, a new tournament every week or every 2 weeks during the big tournament season. And it's like, for all the European players going to all the like places around Europe, yeah, I get it. You can take trains and the accommodation probably isn't that bad. Plus, a lot of them are probably staying with friends. But the Americans who have to fly to those, or for that matter, the Europeans who go to the American tournaments, like, it ain't cheap. And it's like, this is not meant to be a hobby that's just for those who can spend tons and tons of money.
No, I mean,
it's like
this is supposed to be a kid's franchise, but more and more it's becoming less and less of that.
Yeah, it's like, I remember the days when a kid, when parents would buy their kid a booster pack at the checkout in with all the other, like, impulse purchase items, and you might get a booster pack whenever you went grocery shopping. And now, there's no way in heck that's happening. If kids can't impulse purchase Pokemon, then if it's only becoming a special purchase for special occasions, then, like, yeah, maybe they get into collecting, but when that's happening, they're probably collecting because they're already Pokemon fans, as opposed to people who, for who the TCG are the primary thing. Like, if TCG cards are just a special sometimes thing, rather than, like, this is my regular purchase in the fandom, like, it's not good long term for the health of the franchise and the health of the game. It creates an insular community that expects things to be done one way and gets really upset when they all change. And honestly, it's really not helped by the fact that you essentially have what I think are probably effectively scalping companies sponsoring TCG streamers. Yeah, like, if they're sponsoring TCG streamers to get in, it's like people are being exposed to scalpers as if it's well, that's just thing. How it is. Yeah, it's become normalized, and it's disgusting.
Do not normalize the scalpers. Ostracize the scalpers. Yeah, reject anyone who needed to spend $1 billion to get where they are.
Like, the fact, how to put this? Okay, like in Magic the Gathering, they have a format called Pauper, which is basically tournaments where you can only use common cards, and it's a lot easier for people to put decks together. In Pokemon, the closest we've probably got is something like Gym Leader Challenge, which is still, like, it's not technically an official thing. It's kind of semi-official. You don't see, like, major competitive tournaments for it. You see it as side events typically. They're not going to, like, run a major international tournament based on Gym Leader Challenge yet, but I think they should. I think, like, if one of the things that's encouraging the scalpers are basically, like, driving up the prices of cards in competitive decks. Well, I mean, there's two things that are going up. There's the cards in competitive decks, and it's the cards that look fancy.
Yeah.
But you'll see a lot of the top-end competitive players are playing with these very fancy versions of the cards.
Yes. Even though there's a normal version of the card that's significantly less expensive.
Yeah. And significantly less likely to bend during regular gameplay, and so you can't keep it in your deck for that long.
Yes, well.
But yeah, it's...
But the bigger... Well, okay, I wouldn't say the bigger problem. The thing to consider about TCG as opposed to something... Well, okay, even the main series, right? The Pokemon battles in the video game, they do in person, but, like, you have to do trading card in person, or figure out how to use these on. So traveling will always be required for for the trading card things. Whereas
Well,
maybe they can
no,
transition to an online
they could.
version for, I don't know.
You could transition to online through TCG Live or something else for tournaments. Like that would actually be quite interesting. It would make things a lot more accessible to have that official client do official
Maybe that's why
tournament.
they're trying this sort of thing out. Maybe that's why they're trying, what is it, Champions? Maybe that's why they're trying TCG Live, so that they don't have to have these big in-person tournaments. I don't think they're going to go away, but this makes things much more accessible to. Not that I will do TCG anything because I'm just not interested, but it is more accessible.
They would have to fix a lot of bugs in TCG Live first. But
yes.
yeah, potentially long term. One of the other things they could do, I don't know how effective this would be, but what if we basically had a year without chase cards?
I don't know what a chase card
Which is to say, full arts.
Okay.
Like, if people are only collecting, so you've got the two groups, you've got the players and you've got the collectors. The collectors would hate not having full arts, but if the collectors are who the scalpers are mostly going at, because admittedly, a lot of the competitive cards are not that expensive. It's you can buy EX cards in Australia. You could buy them for like $3-4 Australian. So I'm guessing it's only like $2-3 US for a decent EX, and that's one used in a tournament deck. So if you get rid of these stupidly rare versions of cards that people are buying up all these packs for, while still having the regular basic versions,
that could work.
Yeah, it's it's kind of the opposite of what the opposite of what a lot of people had been suggesting. Because some people had said we can stop the scalpers by making the chase cards very, very common.
That defeats the point of that.
No, if you do that, then the scalpers are still going to be buying up all these product, and the price of the chase cards isn't determined by how many of the card have been printed.
It's how many have been sold.
Well, not even that. It's determined by how many are currently being sold.
Uh-huh.
Which is to say, if you've got a card that's very common, but no one's selling the card, then your only way to get it is to either get lucky in a pack or to pay for it. And sure, your odds are maybe better, but if you still can't buy any packs, then you're still having to pay the scalper.
Yep.
And it just means the scalpers have more inventory to sell, but they're not selling them all at the same time.
No, that would be dumb.
Because each scalper only has one listing at a time, effectively. It's like as soon as you buy it, the new listing goes up automatically, but increasing the supply of chase cards doesn't actually increase the supply available to the end user.
So just get rid of them altogether. Do the opposite. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so if you get rid of them all, scalpers no longer have anything to sell to the collectors. And collectors probably have an easier time of finishing the set because the sets would be compressed down.
Yeah.
Because you don't have all the chase things that are because chase numbers, say if there's 83 cards in the set, your chase numbers would start at 84 and so forth.
Yeah.
So all those supernumeral cards would pretty much go away. And if you've done things like that, then, and you probably keep those chase cards in TCG Pocket because that's a separate thing and the scalpers can't stop you there.
No, they can't.
But you get rid of the chase cards in the physical game for a while, and the older cards may become more valuable potentially, but that was always going to happen. They keep appreciating in value anyway. but the scalpers will essentially be left with a bunch of old stock and having to wonder where they go next.
Yes, well. I will admit that the card that I bought for $80 was like was a rare version. I think the rarest version of this particular card. So $80 was not a lot to spend for it. Like I said, I'm happy with this, and it wasn't Pokemon.
Dino Guts also points out they could also reprint stuff, and that's one of those things where it's difficult. One, because power creep, so older cards are less useful to players, so that it becomes only collectors, but then the collectors often aren't collecting the art so much as they are collecting the specific card in the set. So reprinting the card doesn't necessarily reduce the price of the original, because people still want the original older card to finish the set. So unless you're printing, unless you literally reprint an old set, and like maybe that is the solution. Like maybe you could have a retro format.
Didn't they do that with like the original set at one point, where they
No. Okay. If you're thinking of the Wizards of the Coast era, they did base set 2, which was reprinting certain cards from base set and some of the subsequent sets.
Yeah,
and
fossils and what was it? Jungle?
Jungle and Team Rocket as well.
Yeah.
And like, so that came from Wizards of the Coast thinking, where like with Magic, they always had their base set, which was like the essential, or back then anyway, they had like the base set, which was the essential cards that everyone should be expected to have access to. And that didn't really work for Pokemon, and doesn't today, because power creep. Like, you can't expect cards from 10, 20 years ago to still be relevant to modern games.
Well, why the hell did they introduce power creep in the first place? That was a stupid idea.
Because it's a way to sell the newer cards.
Bah.
Part of the issue with if your old products are still relevant,
damn it,
to tournaments, is that the like it's harder to get people excited about all the new effects and so on and so forth on the new cards. So like I get why they do it, but like look, I would say if you did reprint the old sets and have like a retro format that plays at the same time as your standard format, like you could, I don't know, like if they did a remake of Black and White, and they could literally start reprinting all of the cards from like the Black and White series and reprint those sets with the same like literally the exact same cards, the boosters looking the exact same, like don't change any marks, make it so there's literally no way to distinguish between an unopened original booster and a brand new booster, completely devalue the old stock for all the investors. Like, yeah, that would be pretty great. That would sell. The scalpers would go crazy, but it's also long-term wrecking those scalpers.
Good.
And not only that, the scalpers would probably find that as soon as that started happening, people would start dumping their old stuff on the market, and a lot of that stuff would go down in price. So, because there'd suddenly be a lot more sellers, because all the people who've literally been keeping garages full of this stuff going, this is my retirement, would go, well, it's not.
If your retirement is trading cards, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's like your retirement is sealed Lego sets. It's like...
No. Unacceptable. Bad.
I mean, I'll admit, if I'd had the money for it and a spare room, like, for volume, some of those have gone up a lot in value.
Oh, I know. I am aware of this. I know the Lego resale community very well.
But the scary thing about it is it has to be sealed, so you're
Yes.
never really enjoying it, because any opened Lego is like, well, it's literally the same parts in every other set,
Yep.
and you can buy those for cents.
Yep.
When you're buying a Lego set, you're not really buying the individual pieces. You're buying the instructions, which you can get for free these days in their app.
Online, yeah, as PDF.
Yep, and you're buying the couple of unique printed pieces that might be in a set.
Alright, let's try this. I have got Sweet Scent. Yes, I wasted 11 rare candies. But what the hell else am I gonna do in this save file? I've already done everything that there is to do.
And yeah, Dynaguts, I wish they would make old formats more accessible in Pokemon TCG Live, but I understand that it takes a long time to bug fix all of the interactions with some of those cards, and that it's probably very confusing for new players to look at the wordings on some of those older cards and they're just not worded the same for the exact same effect. And then you'd have to deal with the cards where there's been errata as well, and yeah, but maybe it's just because I'm an old fogey, but I definitely prefer how things were like 20 years ago in the TCG. Like back then, it's still, the power creep wasn't so bad that, like, if you were playing a casual game and someone had their cards from like the original few sets, like, yeah, they'd be weaker, but we're only talking like 10-20 HP weaker, and like the competitive decks were still somewhat viable. But now, like, yeah, if I tried to play like my competitive deck from 20 years ago, and nowadays you've got basics that can be as strong as like a stage, well, sometimes a stage 2 Pokemon from back then, certainly a stage 1.
I wish there was a way to shortcut this or short key this, but there isn't. At least not that I'm aware of, but still.
Out of interest, Dynaguts, what deck did you play 20 years ago?
The screen goes pink. Hey, look, it's Tropius at night. You know, maybe trying this with a shiny Roselia, that'll encourage the shinies to show up. Maybe.
Maybe.
That was a full odds shiny, the Roselia. In this file.
Yeah, 20 years ago, like the deck I was playing was Mercury.
I tried creating my own deck all those years ago.
I mean, all those years ago, it felt more like you could create a deck that was all your own. Like it was a very robust meta game back then, and
nowadays there's like 2 or 3 cards that you base a deck around, and it's basically the same 3 or 4 decks that run everything, right?
Well, it's certainly a case that there's not as many truly competitive decks, and you get some decks that, like, currently it's Dragapult EX. Like, that deck just runs roughshod over a lot of the format, and you see events where it's like 30 to 50% of the deck is, sorry, 50% of a tournament is that single deck, because it's just so dominant. People at Premiere, go in early Gen 4. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, I would have stopped before the Gen 4 stuff. I like my big period was Delta Species. I played Mercury, which was Gardevoir Delta, Starmie Delta. I was the one who developed and created that archetype, which was not very successful. Well, no, it had no success in US Masters, but it did have some success in US Seniors, and like it saw a lot more play outside the US. I had some special sauce to how I played it. I never properly disclosed my actual deck list to US. Well, in forums. Let's say there were a couple of US players who I had shown it to, who we like played against each other online with like proxy card things to test it out. But I played it very differently to how people in the US played it, where they were like trying to make it essentially a beatdown deck because, we've got all these metal energy things that reduces the damage we take, so obviously we're meant to be tanky. And it was like, no, the deck plays on disruption, and the whole thing is that I can actually disrupt your board state with a bunch of things because I actually have free retreat while doing decent damage because of these cards, and like sneaky ways to do lots and lots of damage with, like, I don't need to use the Gardevoir, I can use the Curlier, and its attack does damage based on how many energy my opponent has attached, and the big deck in format would like attach 4 energy, so like, I mean, I got into the top 8 in Australian Nationals beating the Lugia Blastoise Steelix deck with a Curlier one-shotting a Blastoise.
Huh.
Sorry, Blastoise EX, I think it was. I can't remember. Was it Blastoise EX or Blastoise? I'd have to look it up. But anyway, so I played it very differently to how people in the US were playing it, and I was just like, I didn't think it was that groundbreaking, but like just the fact that you could take similar ideas and play them in very different ways, it doesn't feel quite as free these days. It's like you've got the idea and here's how the deck works, and there's one way to do it, and this is the perfectly optimized way that thousands of people have looked at, and if you play it any other way you're stupid, and I don't like that.
See, that's another barrier to entry, is you basically have other people optimizing stuff. Where's the fun in that?
Yeah, it's like a lot of the fun back then was building your own deck, coming up with a combo and making it your own.
I'll tell you something I did that I thought was kind of clever. This was back in the days of the Johto deck, the Johto cards, the original series of Unknown. I actually experimented quite a bit because I think you could only have 4 of them in a deck. So I wanted to see which 4 would make the deadliest combination, and because I knew how horrible they were in the game, I wanted to see if I could take them in the TCG and actually make them something worthwhile. Now, granted, did I ever actually play competitively? No, I did not. But, like, around my neighborhood, it was a good deck once I finally figured out which 4 Unknown were the best.
Yeah. I mean, the league I was in was like a small league, but it was literally the only league in town in that era. Like we were basically hosting like city and state championships in the back room of the card shop.
See that when MCH came into town, which was when I got that trading card. That's exactly what the kind of place that we went to, like a almost an old school comics and gaming shop, except it was in the front room that they had their tournament going on, and it was in the back room where they actually did sales. But like, that's the kind of place I used to go to. And I feel like those kinds of places just are rarer and rarer these days.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
have
look,
returned.
Oh, hi, Snowy.
welcome back. Yeah,
Snowy, I
so, like,
wasted 11 rare candies on a Roselia
so like,
Why?
to learn Sweet Scent.
so yeah, like our league probably had like only about a dozen people of all the age divisions put together, but because of that, we were close knit. It meant that like the seniors essentially trained the the masters players essentially trained the seniors and juniors, and that had very good showings at the national tournaments because of that. And we had this thing where essentially it was kind of understood that everyone had their own deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it was frowned upon to steal someone else's combo. It was like, get your own.
Yeah, seriously.
But it was also this thing where, like, if you had a combo, then you were expected to keep that and let others have
Come
a
up with their
chance
own.
to come up with their own from, say, the latest sets. So, like, I stuck with my basic combo for almost the entire time I was involved in competitive play, because I was successful. Therefore, I didn't need to come up with a new combo. Therefore, if I'd, like, gone out of my way to build some amazing thing from the newest cards, it would have been effectively unfair to all the younger kids. It's like, yeah, well, I've been beating you with my deck, so now it's your chance to come up with something to beat me.
Right. That's kind of the way to do it.
Yeah, and like that felt good. We basically only had one player, and this is a player who eventually got a lifetime ban from the game from the Pokemon Company International for his behaviour at Worlds. Yeah, it was bad. But it was just that one player who kind of went against that and would do what we called net decking back then, where he would basically go online and find out, like, here's the exact deck lists that was used by these US champions in this big tournament last month, and now I'll order all the cards off eBay, which...
Oh, that is so scummy.
And this was like right when eBay had basically started, and like it wasn't
That
something
is
that
so
the average
scummy.
player used. Yeah, so like these days doing something like that is normal.
Yeah, but it's still scummy.
Yeah, to the rest of us back then, it was like, you're not really, like, you're just here at the leagues to win, not to have fun with other Pokemon fans. Your only way of winning, of having fun, is winning, and that's not fun for everyone else.
This is the problem with what it's become. It's become less about having fun and more about winning is the only way to have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's
it's
why
like,
I don't do things competitively.
Yeah, and it's like, I would say it is fun to win,
but it shouldn't be the only way you have fun.
Yeah, but I would also say, even if you're not focused on winning, losing all the time is not fun. And if you were doing these things that don't even give other people at the leagues a chance, I mean, I don't know how modern leagues are. I haven't had access to a modern league for years. Maybe that's less of an issue now, because like all the hyper competitive players are all off playing against each other. But back then, as someone who would be playing like 7-year-olds sometimes, like, I'm not gonna just beat them up constantly.
No!
I'm gonna,
first of all, there's
give
no
them
honor in that. Second of all, you can have, like, it won't be fun for them, but if they get beaten, like, part of the fun would be passing on your knowledge.
Yeah. And like the fact that at least one of the people I trained, I think, went on to later become a world champion in seniors. Like, I'll fucking take that. I'd have to double check his tournament record. Maybe I'm getting mistaken. He certainly was national champion. Back when we had national championships. Yeah. And so, like, these days, I think if I was in that kind of a scene, like, the only way I could make it work was if it was a league where it's like, okay, in this league, we have like our regular tournament things, and none of our tournaments are going to be standard format. You want to play standard format, you go and play in the, like, this ultra competitive thing where everyone's trying to qualify for worlds, yada yada yada. Here, like, sure, we'll do that for the big tournaments, and we'll all go there together and hopefully have a fun time, and we'll help train you up. But in our local stuff, let's all do like gym leader challenge, and let's do all these other formats, which are going to, like, where a lot of the challenges in deck building. Because, like, TCGs used to be about deck building, and the whole deck building element's gone if everyone's just crowdsourcing ideas from other people.
Yes.
It's not even crowdsourcing, is it? If you've just left all your deck building to
other people,
like this small cluster of like 20 to 50 hyper competitive people who go to all the big tournaments around the world,
and you probably won't be able to play their decks as well as they can.
Yeah, and like there are some of those top tier players who will occasionally come out with a big idea that no one's seen, and it'll throw the world into disarray. Like Tord Reklev when he did that box deck the other year. Like that was a, like, they ended up naming it the Tord box, but like, you don't see those kinds of rogue decks that take everyone by surprise and the tournament world by storm if you're just copying everybody else's things. Yeah. So, like, experimenting, thinking like, okay, so here's the decks everyone's playing. What is the similar factor here that, like, is an exploitable weakness in how they're building the decks? And, like, I wasn't able to exploit it because I wasn't able to go to tournaments, but for the past few years, one of the exploitable weaknesses I saw was that many decks had no way to retreat their Pokemon easily. They didn't play switch cards, which meant that if they were going to retreat their Pokemon, they had to discard the energy. And for some decks that was okay. Like Gardevoir EX is like, yeah, I discard the energy and then I use Gardevoir EX's ability to reattach that energy. Why do I care if it's discarded? That they could use it strategically. But there are other decks where it's like, the active Pokemon they have is the active Pokemon and it's staying there until you knock it out, because they can't afford to lose the energy because they've got everything like tightly tuned in their deck to have like such a small amount of energy. And I was just like, you know, there's probably some silly exploitable thing you could do here where you could win just by forcing someone to have a Pokemon in the active that they can't retreat and then decking them out. And I literally had someone do it to me at a tournament. Like, I was actually there with Gardevoir EX, and I'd had my Radiant Greninja, which, being water, not psychic, I couldn't use that ability to attach to. All my energy was in the discard. I could put it on all my psychic Pokemon, but I had no way to get that Greninja out of the active. And it was just like, well, how many cards you got left in your deck? How many cards I got left in the deck? Okay. Oh, and you've got a way to recycle your deck so you won't deck out? What was it? The Pidgeot V or something? So it's like, yeah, I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I'd thought about how to do it. I hadn't found a way to do it. They did it by accident. But it didn't seem to be their main strategy. But like, well, I don't know. Maybe they had done it intentionally, and it was just some because they had the Pidgeot there to prepare to do exactly that. But I don't think they were expecting to pull it off. I was just like, yeah, a deck built around that, maybe that could work. Like,
Too many strategies, too many things to keep track of.
There was another deck I wanted to try a while back, which was like, it used this Psyduck that made it so that on the opponent's next turn, any coins they flipped would be tails, or something like that. And I was like, okay, so if their Pokemon's confused, that means that it does no damage to me and it just damages itself, right? And I was like, okay, so if I can make it so that that whole Pokemon can't retreat thing, and I can keep them confused, then I can literally stall them because their active is kind of stuck there until it knocks itself out if they actually attack, and they probably won't attack initially because they won't think to knock themselves out to start with, and I can just stall and run their deck out because again, people didn't really have a lot of stuff to prevent deck out at that point. And I was like, I mean, that would have been an exceptionally toxic strategy. Like, can you imagine the amount of people who would have been so angry at losing to a deck of Psyducks?
Oh no! The people who use toxic strategies get upset when someone finds a counter that they consider toxic to their toxic strategy. I would have felt so sorry for them.
Totally.
But yeah, so when I play, I try to think of these outside the box strategies because for me, the deck building is probably more fun than actually playing the game at this point. And my big success when I was like, well, as I was saying before, with that deck I was using, it was about disrupting my opponent's field and making it very hard for them to plan what they're going to do, make it hard for them to retreat, force Pokemon that couldn't attack out, force their support Pokemon up so I'd get rid of the things with the useful abilities. And like, that sort of disruptive strategy and playing the player as much as I'm playing their deck was what I was really good at. But I can't do that in the modern game, and I especially can't do that online because I think it worked better because people knew me. and they knew what my deck was, and so like getting them to overthink everything kind of worked in my advantage.
See, there's a game that I play, or used to play when I actually had a group of friends that would do board games and things like that. There's a deck building game called Dominion, and I ended up with, like, I want to say 3 or 4 expansions to it. That's a deck building game where you play with, you get a certain number of the cards, and you can basically purchase cards, and there's objectives to get certain amounts of points, and if you accumulate points too quickly, they jam up your deck, and I don't know, like, that sort of thing is fun, where you basically start with the same pile, and then you and whoever else is playing can choose which cards to buy during your turns, and all of that stuff. I don't remember the specifics, but there were some really fun strategies that I came up with in that. So it's not that I can't come up with it's just like, if it's going to be an incredibly toxic environment where, like, you conform to what everyone else is doing or you don't stand a chance, that's just no fun. think for myself. But then, again, like you said, if I did think for myself, if I came up with the strategy that actually beat everybody, boy, would they be so salty about it that it wouldn't be worth it. Because they'd be pissed at me. And I'm sure they'd be toxic about losing. No sense getting involved in a community like that. And I say this as someone who's I consider myself a semi-toxic fan. Because I'll complain about things like Legend ZA, which deserves all of the complaining that I've done about it. It does! That is an excellent question, and I don't know, Jay. It's not off topic because I just brought up ZA, though.
I will say, to be fair to the Pokemon fandom, if a completely out of the box strategy happens, it doesn't completely reject it. However, they do. There are definitely certain kinds of strategies that people don't like because they're like, well, it's not fun to play that against that kind of strategy.
And playing against you is fun when you use the same strategy as 50 billion other people? No, you don't get to complain about that. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, to a point. I mean, I understand that people don't like, and perhaps this is why there hasn't been a viable one for a long time, but a lot of people don't really like strategies that say, that mill decks, that it you attack and maybe it's not actually attacking their Pokemon, but it's attacking their deck and forcing them to discard. Because then to them it's like, well, how can I play the game if you're discarding my deck?
Yeah, but it is a legitimate strategy.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I think that should be a stronger strategy is because of the way deck building philosophy is these days, which is these ridiculously over-tuned decks.
That's the thing. If you tune and try to optimize it, you've got maybe one card that you absolutely need, and if you lose that card, because it's a very, very, very exploitable weakness, and honestly, do it.
Yeah, it's back in the day, the number one thing for deck building has always really been consistency, right? But consistency means different things in different metagames. And I think if a metagame had a seriously viable mill deck, then suddenly you would have to see a lot of strategies change overnight, because if your deck relies on having thin lines of things and making that viable with no ways of retrieval,
yes,
then your one card goes and suddenly
your deck is worthless.
Yeah, the irony is when those mill decks came out, basically immediately they had cards that were essentially hard counters to them. There was a tool card which basically meant that your opponent wouldn't be able to mill cards so long as a Pokemon with that tool card was in the active. And it's well, there's ways to get rid of tool cards. Why are we... that should be part of your mill deck in the first place. Why is the existence of that card such a huge issue? But yeah, it was just very disappointing that on the flip side, Dragapult EX has a huge bunch of counters, but that are supposed to be hard counters, and it does just get rid of them easily enough. And it's if you're able to do that for Dragapult EX, if the hard counters are not hard counters there, why were they supposedly hard counters for these other decks? Mm-hmm. Come on, people, experiment a bit. We had something that could have really worked here.
People are too scared to experiment these days because if the goal is to win and there are winning strategies, nobody wants to be the one to take the leap of faith and try to find the hole in the winning strategy.
That's the thing. It's not that they're afraid to experiment, it's that they don't experiment at all to begin with because they don't create their own decks. They take someone else's deck list and play it. And it's like changing the deck means taking significant risks because you're trusting someone else's testing of the deck. Because, again, to be completely fair here, the average player is not playing 20 hours plus a week. And if they are, it's probably against complete randos on TCG Live after school or something, which is not really the same level of play as these top-end players who are basically playing each other in small, like, study groups that are testing out various strategies.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, getting back to Jay's question, there really is no canonical age for Ansha. It would surprise me if Ansha was alive during the events of XY, because literally not mentioned a single time, but it wouldn't be the first time Pokemon retconned something like that, so... I mean, I'd say she's probably 5 and maybe it was right after the events of XY that she was born, but Diantha didn't look... I don't know. Diantha didn't look pregnant in X and Y, but what do I know?
Not a lot, apparently.
Nothing. No, absolutely nothing.
Speaking of, I'm sure if there's anyone who's super deep into the competitive TCG, they're probably going like, oh, no, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand how these things work, etc., etc. And it's like, well, yeah, you're right. I don't play competitively. I don't have access to a league, but I think that's probably goes for the majority of players. And even the ones who do have the potential for it, like, I think are justifiably intimidated from getting into these things right now because, one, it's expensive to get into in the first place. That eliminates a lot of people. And two, like, if you go into a league and you're just totally being demolished from the instant you go in by people who have these overtuned decks when you've barely got yourself a starter deck, it's like, yeah. It's like, it's not like the days when people were playing in the schoolyard against other people with similar level decks and there weren't really like, and back when like there weren't huge lists of what the perfect decks were to play online, so everyone had to build their own from whatever they had, which meant that because we had, because we only had access to the cards that we could buy ourselves or trade, you didn't see decks with like 4 copies of the most powerful card in the game because no one had that except for the one super rich kid at the school who nobody really liked. Yeah.
I thought it was fishy when I battled someone with a Pokemon deck who had a Blue Eyes White Dragon.
So, yeah.
Although, actually, Reshiram is, in fact, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Zekrom is Red Eyes Black Dragon. As was pointed out to me recently. I know, Jay, that's why it was funny, or it was supposed to be funny. I don't know. It probably wasn't funny. Spoilers, I'm not funny. I do seem to be, like, This is allowing me to encounter Pokemon regularly without having to move, which is nice. But, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually going faster. I mean, consider Dino Guts. Ansha's basically growing up with an absentee mother. Because Diantha's always off doing something somewhere. Like, she literally got dumped at the Hotel Rishizume, or whatever they call it, to be looked after by Jacinth and Laban. So... I don't know. I mean, I find a lot of ZA to be very counterintuitive. Like, extremely counterintuitive. Like, the fact that, okay, 1,000 years is probably a long, well, 1,000 years is certainly a long time to be living, but, like, I find it skeptical to believe that after the events of the war and the first super weapon or whatever the hell AZ made, he would have ever made a second one. To say nothing of the fact that literally none of that was mentioned in XY. And let us not forget that in XY, there was a freaking game show going on in there because it was a gym. So completely retconning Prism Tower, that made no sense. What makes even less
They
sense...
didn't retcon Prism Tower. There were people in the game who mentioned it. The gym's closed for the renovations.
No, X and Y. It was never mentioned in X and Y that AZ built a second super weapon.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Or
no one
that
knew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, maybe nobody knew, but like, it's shoehorning it in. I find it ridiculous to believe that he would have built a second super weapon, and even beyond that, I find it ridiculous that he would build a second super weapon that needed his specific Eternal Flower Floette when he hadn't seen it and had no indication that he would ever see it again, and he hadn't seen it for 1,000 years. I call BS on that whole plot. Okay, it doesn't matter. He'd seen how any of this stuff could be taken and warped into an ultimate weapon. And again, the fact that he specifically made it keyed to the Floette that he hadn't seen for 1,000 years makes less sense. Specifically since it was supposed to meet a need that someone that day gave to him. And if he really did hope to reunite with this Floette, building a second super weapon was not the way to do it. Not that I care or got that invested in any of the XY characters, because they're all kind of ignorable and bland. But, like, it took what was supposed to be AZ's defining trait and tossed it in the trash. Also, Lysander absolutely should have died. And I'm kind of pissed that he didn't. The curry might toches. There are things that Z-A did better than XY. Like, the fact that you actually have more people using Mega Evolution is actually good because it's supposed to be the regional gimmick. Well, like, 2 people used it in XY. That's a minor exaggeration. I think 3 people used it. But that's it. I mean, I'm not saying that I dislike what they did. Well, okay, the cop-out where he lost all his memory is also BS. Because he can't live with guilt if he doesn't remember what he did. Also, the fact that it's, like, specifically 3,000 years that exposure to the ultimate weapon gets you. Like, that's never mentioned in XY. But suddenly that's a thing that happened in ZA? I don't know. None of it makes sense to me. And it just... The one thing I will say is that it did feel rather cathartic to beat up the Prism Tower, which is basically the symbol of the Kalos region, which y'all know I have no love for. Okay, but he should, like, if the whole point was to get him to live with his guilt, he should have remembered from the beginning. You don't wipe the guy's memory if you're making him live with his guilt. Also, I don't know what the hell the deal is with his Sharingan eye. Also, why specifically 3,000 years? Like, why did AZ only live for 3,000? Okay, I say only, but like... I thought he was supposed to be actually immortal. 3,000 years of life is not immortal. It's a long life, but it's not immortal. Immortal means you don't die. I'll say this, if ZA had been a game basically by itself and the first introduction to Kalos, I probably would have liked it. Maybe. But there's just too much in those games, in that game, that just doesn't make sense. Also, Kalos sucks. Tell me something that I've said that's wrong, Snowy.
I can't sigh any louder.
That's because you're not a duck.
What?
You can't sigh any louder because you're not a duck.
I think he's quacked, Snowy.
Oh,
Yeah,
ages ago.
I get it.
Ages ago. I've been doing this for over 3 hours now. No shiny. I didn't think I would, but I always hoped.
I mean, you were saying earlier you wanted to get to 1,500 encounters, and you're not there yet.
I know.
How long are you going to go for?
Theoretically until 11:30 p.m. my time. I do have to
What
get up
time
and
is
do
it for you
training
now?
at work. It's 11:08 p.m.
Okay, so you're 1 hour ahead of me. Gotcha.
Yeah. I think that's specifically because I had daylight savings time. No, I acknowledge what ZA does right. Like I said, the fact that there are actually more people who use the regional gimmick of Mega Evolution is a good thing. What it does with Lysander's character, considering the fact that he isn't dead, I guess makes a lot of sense. It's the only thing you could do with his character at that point. Other than maybe throw him in jail. But... dunno. But there are a few things ZA does correctly, and there's a lot of things that it doesn't do correctly.
For example, it annoys MA.
I mean, any game that does that does something right?
Yes. Absolutely.
It gives me what to talk about when I'm bored out of my skull. I can always go back to my well of Kalos sucks. Especially
Now
since...
what we really need is another Legends game that has time travel and Melee can end up in Lumios.
Oh good, my favorite things. But no, look, the other thing that I really just disappointed me about, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, what disappointed me about Legends Kalos specifically is that there were so many better regions that they could have had Legends games in. I know it probably would have been too early for Paldea, but like, honestly, a Legends game where you are part of Heath's exploration group and go into the Great Crater of Paldea, that would be fantastic. That would be amazing. I saw that hydrate, by the way, and I did take a drink. I'll take another drink. Or,
I mean, I can understand why they did the Kalos.
no,
it
didn't deserve the expansion.
I mean, they did it for one reason and one reason only. They wanted to have a Mega Evolution region for this. Like that was the entire thinking of it. Like, otherwise, we probably would have got the Johto Legends game that was rumored.
That would have been fantastic too.
And I mean, if you told me that they are actively working on a Johto Legends game, like, I'd believe you. Like, if you told me that was what they had been working on first and then we got this, I think that would be plausible.
I mean, Galar's DLC also... not only does Galar suck, Galar's DLC sucks too. I'm with you on that one, Jay.
Like, I definitely want to see Pokemon in different time periods and different contexts. Like, I don't know, give us a Ore Unova game set in like a Wild West
that would be fun.
time period.
That would be fantastically fun. Alright, we're giving up on Sweet Scent because I've got so little time left. We're going White Flute and actually making steps for the remainder of this.
Actually, Ore would be very fun because you could address the question of why are there no wild Pokemon in the region?
Yes! Also, Mirror Bee Ancestor. I don't know what his hair would look like because there might not have been Pokeballs, but Mirror Bee Ancestor.
No, if they do a Wild West era type, Pokeballs would exist already.
Fair enough. But we need like an actual like okay, Coliseum and XD are good, but like we need a main series Ore game. I mean, I guess you're not wrong, Jay, but I don't know why Game Freak felt like exploring a bland region that had some of the dumbest characters that they've ever come up with. But the
But
game
not everyone
sold,
says-
so can't argue with it.
I hate scam callers.
Yeah, I get a bunch of those. They suck. It wasn't like okay, maybe it was underdeveloped, but it was so damn bland. There were better places that they could have that they could have turned their attention to and should have turned their attention to.
Like what?
Like Paldea or Alola or Johto
So there's two reasons.
or Hoenn.
Johto is possible, Hoenn's possible. Sinnoh's already been done.
Alola would have been perfect.
But I think Kalos was a good choice.
It was literally the second worst choice.
You only say that because you don't like Kalos. What about
And-
people that do like Kalos?
I don't know why they do.
Because it's interesting.
No, it really was bland as hell.
It wasn't.
Alice was fine. I mean, I wouldn't say it was the most amazing region, but I wouldn't say it was the worst either.
I'm not saying it's
Exactly.
the worst. I'm saying it's the second worst.
I don't think it is.
It is.
Even if it is, like, being not amazing, like, even if we're saying it's the second worst, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's okay.
I'd say you gotta hit at least third worst to be it's okay.
Yeah, you're marking on a curve here. Like, it is entirely possible that every region is a pass. It might be worse than the other regions, but it doesn't make it bad.
Not every region is like I don't mark on a curve. If I think something's bad, it's bad. It doesn't get a
Yeah,
C.
But whereas here I'm saying every region is at least a C.
I disagree.
I don't know if I agree with that. There's a couple that I think of below C, but Kalos is not one of them.
I mean, that's literally the only Legends game that would have been worse than a Legends Kalos game.
For me, Kanto, the only reason Kanto gets an F is because it's overdone.
It's overdone, plus it's actually not that interesting of a region.
Don't agree.
Kanto? It's really not that interesting.
It's probably the least interesting of all the regions, but it's
Yes.
not terrible.
I agree, Dino Guts, that like doing a Legends Kanto would be practically impossible.
Because there really
Because
isn't
there's-
any.
Yeah, like what's the legend here?
Maybe the creation of Mewtwo, but they kind of already did that in a movie, and that wouldn't have been that long ago.
What?
Like, I mean, what you're saying about the legendary birds, like I could kind of see doing that as a Legends, but yeah, it's just like
It's too thin of a plot.
yeah,
Way
and
too
if we're
thin.
if we're working off the actual inspirations for the regions, like Kanto should not really be the region that's like the focus here, should it? Like it as in like the capital was in Johto and moved to Kanto.
Pokemon Legends Mew.
Mew is not native to Kanto. Mew is native to South America. Don't forget that.
Is that still a thing in the latest iteration of Kanto, or?
No, in the latest iteration of Kanto, it's under a truck.
I will ignore that.
I don't actually remember. I know that I played Let's Go, but I honestly can't remember
Neither do I.
if there were even journal entries in the Pokemon Mansion. But yeah, there is technically no Kanto game where you can actually catch Mew, even if you need it to complete the Pokedex in Let's Go, which is baloney.
Yeah, I think the whole distribution thing sucked.
Eh, it is what it is. Like, event-only legendaries have been a thing since the first generation. It's not going anywhere.
I mean, Mew was an event only
Yeah,
legendary
that's
from
what
the
I'm
first
saying.
generation.
They've been a thing since the first generation. They're not gonna stop now. Such baloney.
How many continents have they done regions for? North America, Asia, and Europe? Is that all?
I believe so, because there hasn't been one in
We have
South
not.
America yet. There hasn't been one in Africa or Australia.
There have been Pacific Islands, I guess you could say, but
Well, that's
it's not
Hawaii.
exactly a continent. But yeah, well, not only that, but also Ranger.
Fair.
Where's Ranger set? I mean, where's the region based on?
Is it like Guam or something? Technically,
I would not know. Either way, I think we're getting another region based on Pacific Islands in Winds and Waves, or am I misremembering?
What do we know about that region?
that Winds and Waves will be like Southeast Asia.
So we're going back to Asia then, basically.
It makes sense.
Let's see. So Ranger was in. There's stuff here for the region. Fiore. Somewhat far from the range. Likely be. Oh, so okay, they're still based on Japanese islands, those.
Yeah, I'm not hitting 1,500 encounters
I was just
today.
thinking that too, Jay.
I mean, one of the games is literally called Waves. It wouldn't surprise me if it ended up having more water than Hoenn.
Yeah, we haven't explicitly said on Bulbapedia yet where it's going to be, but it'll be in. Well, it's in Southeast Asia. The only question is where.
We still need a region based on the US Midwest. That would be funny. All of the corn Pokemon.
Because the region based on New York wasn't bad enough.
No, it was a bad. And if New York gets one, Chicago should get one. New York is the inferior Chicago.
But yeah, like the real question is, why haven't we had an Australian region yet?
That's a very good question. I can't wait to have like a cockatiel Pokemon, right? A Pika clone that's actually not a rodent. Cockatiels have the orange cheeks already. It's like a gimme idea.
I mean, for me, there's the well, so the majority of poison types in Pokemon came out in Gen 1,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well, a lot. It was the most common type in Gen 1.
It was the most common type in Gen 1, and if we go and have a look at the pure poison types today, still more than half of them come from Gen 1. If we go look at the... Okay, so the primary poison type is a bit more fairly distributed, but if we have a look at secondary poison type, and it's just like huge amounts of Pokemon from Gen 1, and is it like half of the Pokemon with a secondary poison type from Gen 1?
I'd believe it.
Kind of close. Let me see. Yeah, it seems to be. At the very least, it's very close if it's not. But it's like, this does mean that there's... Like, it kind of suggests that poison at the moment is not an ignored type, but like a type that probably
could stand to have some more.
Could stand to have some more representation in a better way. And what better way would there be than a whole bunch of Pokemon from Australia?
I'd buy that.
Meh.
No, I seriously, I don't disagree that a region based on Australia would be interesting.
Like, I guess Australia's biggest problem is that maybe it should have been the Colosseum Games.
A bit, maybe. Like, the fact that they put that in Arizona was a little weird.
Yeah, like, have it as a bit Mad Max kind of thing. Because, to be fair, the centre of Australia is going to be
literally
mostly
uninhabitable.
Desert. Yeah, so how are you going to handle that?
I have no idea.
I mean, you wouldn't be putting the entire country in there anyway. Australia's just far too big for that.
You'd probably get a lot of the highlights.
You could put the entire country in and do something for how transport works or something. Like, you could absolutely do it. Just on the basis that I don't know, have a really gigantic wild area kind of deal. Or, I mean, if you can make a... I was going to say, if Paldea can be a completely open land, you could theoretically do that for an Australian region too, but the only problem would be that you would have to... you'd have to make some terrain very dangerous to the trainer, and you'd have to take supplies or something. Basically, you'd have to find your bush tucker.
I have no idea what that means, but
Food.
Sure.
Basically, it's just bush food. I would like to see the Indian Pacific on the in Pokemon.
Well, actually, that's the point. Like, we haven't. Well, okay, we don't have Africa, which seems like why not? That just seems like an obvious one we should have.
Isn't Peacherunt also poison? To point thing, I mean, not to put salt in the wound,
Yes,
but
it
I'm
is.
pretty sure so that's what 5 legendaries that poison has to 1 bug type. Mythicals absolutely count. I don't care if they're like a separate sub, but like they're a subcategory of legendaries. Also, if you're not counting mythicals, then what is the bug type legendary?
Genesect.
I thought Genesect was a mythical.
It is, isn't it?
Might be right, actually.
Well, Safari game is over, and it
Yeah,
is
it is
exactly
mythical.
11:30.
You're right.
So
Well,
I was
yeah,
hoping to at least
like,
get to 12:50 today, but oh well.
but yes, Australian region would absolutely need to have bug and poison legendaries and mythicals.
Yes.
Like, it's the only thing that would make sense.
Also, I still want an electric toilet rotom that's electric poison type.
Why?
That wouldn't
Because it
work
would be
because
funny.
outhouses aren't electrified.
Yeah, but Japan has electric toilets.
Yeah, but that wouldn't work for the Australian region we're talking
Oh,
about.
I'm not saying that it's got to be in an Australia region. It just has to be in general. Like, there are 3 types of Rotom that need to exist that don't already. Right? There's the computer Rotom, which is electric bug. There's the guitar Rotom, which is electric rock. And then there's the toilet Rotom, which is electric poison.
A computer rotom as electric bug is an amusing pun,
Yes.
but I don't know if they'd really do that.
They should. They should. Anyway, that's
I just
gonna
want more
be it.
Eevee.
Well, they have too many of those as it stands. That is going to be it for tonight's stream. Unfortunately, unsuccessful. I am ending on 1, 2, 3, 4 encounters, so at least that's something. But Cody and Archaic will both be streaming tomorrow, so maybe one of them will get the first Safari Zone Legendary while we continue to participate in this week of Safari Week. I'll be back here Wednesday evening for my second to last run of this, and then back on Sunday at my usual time before heading to Grand Rapids next week. So that'll be fun. Anyway, we will be raiding, and we will be raiding Zeldathon again. So please stick around for the raid. But of course, as always, I am Maniacal Engineer, and I'm never going to give you up, never going to let you down. Thank you all for watching, and God bless this mess.
Night, everyone.
Good night.